Hi, my name is Brad Heineck. I'm a physical therapist.
And I'm Bob Schrupp, and I'm also a physical therapist.
And what we're going to talk about today is lumbar supports in a chair or in the car seat, okay? We're going to talk about two in specific. They are made by McKenzie, the original lumbar support by McKenzie. I've got them right here. And these two are actually my personal lumbar supports. I've been dealing with back pain since I was in high school after a wrestling injury. I buy everything in regards to chairs with good lumbar support, and typically they don't make chairs in the cars or even a couch that I spent a lot of time looking with good lumbar support, so I had supplemented with a good support here, and these are outstanding. Okay, this was actually a little wore out because I've been using it for a while. I may need to get another one. It's about a few years old right now. Okay, let's go into the actual use and why we use those. So Bob has volunteered as, there we go, as my guinea pig, so to speak, on demonstrating how to use it. But before we do that, Bob, why don't you stand up and just chime in, Bob. I just want to mention, oh, Joni, can you throw me the spine there, the ultimate traditional spine we use for education? Whoa! Okay, we'll work on that toss. All right, we got it. Okay. Seriously, the lumbar support supports the lumbar spine, which is the lower part of the back. That's where the majority of back injuries occur. And believe it or not, sitting with poor posture is one of the most common irritants of low back pain. Bob and I see that in the clinic all the time. We address seated posture and proper seated posture all the time. If you look at the spine, it naturally has a curve going in here, and we want to maintain that curve when we sit. Now, oftentimes what happens when we sit is it goes the opposite direction, goes into that C shape, and what we need to do is fill the gap in here to support that, and that's where we put the lumbar support, and it helps maintain that, okay?
What Brad's talking about with that C shape, and I think he was somewhat clear, is that if you put the spine in this whole rounded out position here, it forms the letter C. So we want to avoid that. That's putting a lot of stress on structures. What we want instead is what Brad said. So you want to actually get that slight curve, concaveness in the back to put the back in the spine that was designed to be the strongest when it's in that position.
Okay, now we were just talking about that C shape, that slump posture, which is really tearing apart the spine in this posture, particularly if it's injured. Now you see right here, this is that C shape if you sit like this, okay? A lot of chairs, soft, cushy recliners and sofas promote this. It's hard to get good posture in a lot of chairs, particularly soft ones and automobile seats. So Bob, why don't you scoot your bottom back in. So you're going to scoot the pelvis and the hips all the way back so we get contact with the chair. Okay, this chair actually does have a little bit of lumbar support, but oftentimes it's not enough. You can see he's up in an upright posture. This is much healthier, much less stress on the back. Okay, now if you need more, we're going to take the lumbar support here. Like again, the McKenzie support is excellent. I really like it. Why don't you lean forward, Bob? And we're going to put it in there. And why don't you go ahead and lean back. Now it's hard to see it right here in the camera, but that, Bob, can you tell me if that's in the right location?
It actually is. It actually feels really good.
Now as a therapist, I have someone use this, but I do not say, make sure you put it right at your belt line. What I do is I say, put it at the belt line, and then you're going to know, you're going to adjust it up or down, and you're going to feel the right position because it's going to decrease the pain on your back. It's going to feel like very good support. So Bob, why don't you go ahead and adjust that if it was not in the right place.
Let's go down just a hair now that I've been sitting a while. Now it feels better, a little bit lower.
And that's a good point. Sometimes you may have your lumbar support in after 20 minutes of sitting there. You may need to adjust it there after another 20 minutes to adjust it back down. That way you get some motion in the lumbar vertebra, and it helps circulation and it makes it more comfortable as well. Okay, the second lumbar support I want to talk about, I just started using this one about 1.5 years ago, and one thing about lumbar supports is we talked about moving it up and down, is the thickness of the support itself. It's like, boy, I wish I could have one that could vary the thickness, and lo and behold, they came up with the variable density or the variable thickness of the lumbar support itself. It's a wonderful idea. What they have is a thumb screw right here, and it's an airlock valve, and you just turn it this way and you can squeeze the air out, and then you lock it and it stays at that shape, okay? Now this is really hard to appreciate until you actually use it. Okay, so Bob, we're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to use...
Brad, can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Does this fill back up with air by itself then?
Right, exactly. It certainly does. Let's see what happens with that. I'm going to squeeze the air out of it, like so. It's got memory foam in it, and they use these when I camp. I do a lot of camping. They do the same type of material with air mattresses, so you can pack them up, and then you open it up, and it automatically...
That's fantastic. That's cool.
Yeah, seriously, it's a wonderful device. Okay, so I'm going to lock it in. You're going to get it full thickness. Okay, go ahead, Bob, lean forward and put it back in. Go ahead and adjust it where you feel it's right. Now, what I'm going to do is...
Yeah, that feels like too much to me.
Yeah, so all you do, now why don't you do this, Bob, because I'm not going to be there in your car or wherever. You simply turn it.
Oh, yeah.
Let the air out.
Very easy to use.
Now tighten it up when it feels it's at the right density.
That feels good.
Okay, and you leave it right there. It's great. Now, let's say you've been in the car for a while driving, you have this there, and you want to get more support on there. You simply lean forward, and it will...
Oh, it fills right back up.
Yeah, just like that. Tighten it up and go back in. Very easy to use. Okay.
What I'd like to interject about this, Brad, is that what I find out with a lot of patients is that when they hurt their back, that people who have hurt their back tend to want more support, and people who have not hurt their back, and if they're using this preventatively, don't need this as much support, so they maybe want it thinner. So that's just a general rule of thumb. People with an injured back want more. People who haven't injured their back or are doing prevention want less.
So we're going to finish up. We got the two McKenzie lumbar supports, the traditional foam one and the new variable density or thickness one with the thumb screw. Works great. Very happy with these products.